Hello, my name is Jonathan Forster and welcome to the Multi-Story Thinking Podcast. I'm an interior designer and educator. My job is to improve quality of life and productivity by helping people to create beautiful and practical spaces to live and work in. The Multi-Story Thinking Podcast takes an educational slant to the interior design world. So sit back, relax as we help unravel the mysteries of interior design. Welcome to this special edition of the Multi-Story Thinking Podcast. We're interviewing Kirsty Angerer. Kirsty is an ergonomist and founder of ergonomics and human factors consultancy, the Travelling Ergonomist, and host of the eponymous podcast. She is dedicated to improve health and well-being by educating people to adopt better postures whilst working. Kirsty appeared on the Multi-Story Thinking podcast in Series 1 and returns to share her knowledge in the light of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is forcing many people to work from home as they take measures to isolate and protect themselves. In this episode, we discover the health issues that we may encounter whilst working at home, how to set up your space to avoid these, the importance of movement, and why getting out the ironing board is a great way to keep yourself agile. It does feel a bit like we're in some disaster movie, I think, that hasn't really kicked off yet.
Not yet, but I feel like it's upon us.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to. I feel like I need to start digging a bunker or something.
Oh my goodness. That sounds a bit extreme. I was walking around, actually driving through Topsham where I live, and I was surprised by how many old people walking about. It's quite well known for old people around here, but
Okay.
they're still up and active. But yeah, it just feels a bit like it hasn't really kicked in, although obviously there's a whole load of stuff that already has happened further afield.
Oh, well, I think what people don't realise when the government or these health officials have told us to kind of self-isolate, they've not told us to like stay away completely from people or the outdoors. We are still allowed to go outside and walk around in nature and move and do exercise. But that's not what they're saying. They're just saying don't be around loads of people.
Yes.
Stay hygienic, stay healthy.
It's common sense, isn't it? I think everyone should do that all the time. I'm sort of just coming to grips with it. I'm slightly annoyed that my Easter holiday looks like it will be cancelled in about a week's time because we're supposed to be flying to Greece, but there you go.
Well, I'm supposed to be flying to Mauritius on Friday, the 27th of March.
Okay.
And apparently on Wednesday, they are going to announce no international people coming into the island for 14 days.
Oh, that's a shame.
So it looks like mine's going to be cancelled as well.
Oh, no. Plenty of time to sit at home thinking about ergonomics.
Or the coconut I could be drinking on the beach.
Try and replicate your Mauritius holiday experience at home. Yeah.
I think I might, yeah. Oh, well, that's the least of my worries.
Kirsty, welcome to the Multi-Story Thinking Podcast. You are the first person to return to the Multi-Story Thinking Podcast from our first series. And
Yay!
That's great. It's good to see you. And it's on the back of the COVID-19 scare, which isn't really a scare. It's a full-blown pandemic and the impact it's having on us workers who are quite a lot of us having to spend time at home. I'm interested to get your opinion on the impact of working at home from an ergonomist point of view. Suddenly we're all going to be confined and trying to maintain our businesses, whether we're working for ourselves or working for other people, in spaces that perhaps aren't really set up for that. And you've been talking a lot about how to help people set up their workspaces. Tell me a bit more about what are the issues.
There's lots. There's lots of issues, but actually what I would say is for people not to panic buy loads of ergonomic equipment, not to panic about coming home to work, because actually it might become a place where we start to rejig our strategies going forward, and it gives us an opportunity to rethink things and maybe an opportunity just to, replenish ourselves and recover a little bit in terms of health and wellness. So I think this is really a good opportunity to just see what we're doing and do things better. There's two things that we need to consider. The first one is when you do come to work from home, if that is going to be your business's strategy in the next couple of weeks, or that you're already starting to work from home, have you got a space that you can utilize in the house? What equipment do you currently have? That's one of the first questions to ask yourself. And the second question is, how are you going to encourage movement throughout your day? Because I don't think people realize when you come and work from home, our movement is probably going to decrease quite significantly from being in the office.
And why is that?
Well, if you think about it, there's fewer distractions, fewer meetings. So you don't have to get up out of your workstation to go and walk to a meeting. You don't have to get up and walk to your printer or the waste bin. You've kind of confined everything into one place at home. So there is naturally going to be less movement.
Apart from a quick trip to check whether the washing's finished, the danger of home working is you end up doing a lot of the chores. Most people, what are they going to be doing? They're going to be turning up at home with a laptop. They're going to be going, if they're lucky to have a home office, that's great. Otherwise, what they're going to be doing, working on the kitchen table or the dining table. What are the issues in terms of health that poses?
You know, there's quite significant issues. And I think we do have to be careful about people's posture, because we don't want then this new epidemic to come where people come back to the office with injuries or musculoskeletal disorders. That's definitely not what we want. We want people to come back to the office feeling replenished, healthy, feeling good. You know, we don't want the opposite of that. So when people start to work on sofas or on beds or in any kind of awkward position that you can consider your house to be in or any room to be in, it does offer quite a lot of issues, particularly for the lower back and the neck and upper back. So lower back, if you start to lean forward, that's going to create significant pressure on your lower back. If you're leaning forward to view your screen or your devices and they aren't propped up on something, that will also create a lot of bad posture for the neck. And, you know, it will either decrease blood circulation, it will increase pressure, and just it could cause things like headaches, eye strain, and a whole host of other issues. As you know, it's kind of like a domino effect if we don't get things right at the start.
What moves do you need to do to set up your space?
Honestly, whoever is using a laptop, just there's three things. If you could, and if you have the budget to do so, if you could go out and buy something tomorrow to make your work setup at home better, it's to get yourself a laptop kit. And that includes a laptop stand, a keyboard, and a mouse, because that way at least you can position the keyboard and mouse close to you to set that up properly, and you can prop up your laptop so the top of the screen is at eye level, and that's helping your neck posture.
And what about chairs? We do a lot of specification of ergonomic chairs in workspaces. Obviously the chair is going to be helpful, but what sort of level of investment do you think is appropriate for that?
It's difficult because, you know, some people, and I can completely empathize with this, if you're a student or you're a young professional, you probably don't even have a budget to buy a new chair. You know, chairs can be £100 upwards to £1,000. So, and even £100 could be quite a significant cost to someone. So, you know, the ideal, if you do have the budget, then I would look at a chair that has some adjustment. So height adjustment, lumbar support, seat depth adjustment, and armrest adjustment. Those are probably the four factors, and some ability to move in the chair so that, you know, allows you to sit dynamically. That's if you have budget and can go and buy something for the home office. If you don't have the budget and you just have a dining room chair to sit on, or you have the sofa to sit on, just make sure that you're sat right back into the chair so that you are getting some support. And if you are on a chair that has a completely flat back, like a dining room chair, maybe roll up a towel or add a little cushion just to give you some lumbar support.
You talked about movement. I noticed on one of your posts a comment about someone using the ironing board as a sort of sit-stand setup. Is it possible to improvise like that, or is that going to give you dangers in other areas?
No, why not? You know, a dining board isn't that deep, so you might not be able to set up on a laptop stand with a keyboard and mouse. But if you are wanting to stand for the next 10 minutes and that's the option to be able to stand, then yes, go for it. It's all about compromise, as long as you're not doing something for lengthy periods of time. And I would say a lengthy period of time is probably past 15 minutes, definitely 30 minutes, and definitely an hour. You should not be doing something for more than an hour. So yeah, if you've got an ironing board and want to stand for a little 5-10 minutes, do it. Just don't do it for more than 10-15 minutes.
I suspect a lot of people coming back home to work might not even recognise the ironing board if they're not used to doing any domestic chores. What other sort of tips might you add to that to mitigate any sort of long-term strain?
Movement, I think, is the key. You know, if you have the luxury of being able to set up your environment very well, or you have a space that you can choose to sit and work comfortably, that's brilliant. But if you don't move throughout that day, you are still going to get some musculoskeletal issues. And so there's actually an app on, I don't know if this is on Android as well, I'm sure it is, or an equivalent is. On my iPhone, there's an app called Stand Up. It's free. You download it and you can literally program how often you want it to notify you, and it will literally notify you and say, stand up. So at least if you are in this midst of a report or an email or something, that your phone will pop up with a distraction and tell you to stand up, and that just gives you that distraction to move.
I had somebody who had a little trampoline as well. They do a little bit of bouncing every now and then.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I like it.
You were talking to me earlier about the service that you've got to advise people. I guess lots of people might think you have to be there to observe someone's working position to be able to advise them, but you're doing a service where you can advise remotely. Tell us a bit more about that and how that works.
Yeah, so there's a couple of options. You know, I'm a knowledge sharer. So I have knowledge and expertise over the last 10 years, and I don't necessarily have to be face to face in the same room with someone to offer that knowledge. Exactly what we're doing now. We're on a podcast interview via Zoom. That doesn't require us to be in the same room, but we're doing it. Exactly the same with assessments. What I would do is I would send out a form for you to fill out. So it's just asking you basic questions about your certain personal scenario. Send that form back to me with a couple of photos of you set at your workstation, and I'll get on a call with you, either a video or audio call, whatever your preference, and we can discuss those questions, those issues, and I can offer you some recommendations. That's a really easy and simple thing to do. And I would probably say, honestly, 99% of office issues we can solve being remotely.
You're talking about just educating people how to use the equipment. I mean, that's one of the biggest probable things that people make mistakes in, is not setting their kit up correctly. Helping people do that sounds like a great idea.
Definitely. And you know, that's one way. So if you are someone who needs that additional help and wants that service, by all means, you know, get in touch. And I created this at the end of last year, mainly because I wasn't able to get to as many people as I wanted to. I only have a certain number of hours per day to meet with people and to share my knowledge. And so I put all of this knowledge that I would normally share in an assessment online. So I've created, it's an online course of 29 videos. I would say if you go through all the videos, it's probably going to take you an hour to an hour and a half. So not too long, but you can do it at your leisure, and you'll have access to blogs, newsletters, and live Q&A sessions with me on a monthly basis for the next 12 months. So you've got all the content ready there, but if you want to ask additional questions, then we will have monthly live Q&A sessions, and you'll be part of a members community, so you can start to talk with other people in your same scenario.
That's great. I'll put some links to that on the podcast notes.
Thank you.
And if we're all stuck at home, we should have plenty of time to do a bit of learning and online research. Also thinking about being at home, it's not all doom and gloom, is it? There are some benefits to not having to commute and being in your own environment. I think the key, I suppose, is getting that set up so it's working for you effectively. Yeah,
just honestly, just get home, don't panic, just spend the first, like this morning, my mum's partner is also working from home today. So there's two of us in the house working from home, both on devices. We only have one small office. What are we going to do? So I'm in my bedroom right now because I've got an ergonomic chair and a desk in my room as well. Don't often use this space for work, but for today's purposes and this week's purposes, it's a great place. So we're kind of swapping. So every couple of hours, I'll either be in my room or I'll swap and go down to the study. And so we've just been able to map that out this morning over some coffee and breakfast. So anyone who's listening to this, I would say just spend the first hour when you wake up thinking, what is the best space in the house for me to sit at? Find a space near a window, near nature. You know, don't hide yourself off and cut yourself off completely. You still want to be next to sunlight, and make sure you are moving, and as much as you reasonably can, set up your laptop and devices to make sure that you are comfortable and not putting yourself in any disharm.
All being well, in how long are we here for? Another 3 or 4 months? We'll be going back to work. Can you imagine it?
Oh my God. I'm actually really fascinated to see what happens.
Yes, it's slightly new territory for most of us, I think. Let's see if we can adapt and thrive in this new world of isolation.
Definitely. I saw one of the entrepreneurs I follow, Sarah Blakely. She runs a company called Spanx. She posted earlier saying Newton, he got very ill, I think, when he was figuring out all of his science and research. He got really ill and had to be at home for a week. And that's where he was able to develop all these incredible pieces of information that we all use today. So this is basically an opportunity for us to maybe think and have a rest and a bit more deeply about things.
If we can avoid the distractions of doing the washing and the ironing and focus on the tasks in hand. Yeah, that's great. And I noticed there's someone, I don't know whether it's you suggested it, the things like getting into some routines of not, like getting dressed properly in the morning and not just going straight to work from the breakfast table into work, and adding some sort of time to differentiate between home life and like almost going out the front door and coming back in again would be a useful tip.
When I first started working from home or remotely, I was like, yes, I can just stay in my pajamas, in my fluffy socks, and I'll be fine. Honestly, within a day of doing that, it was really unproductive and you just don't feel like you're really in that mode of work. So definitely get up, have a shower, get ready, get dressed, and just set yourself up for the day. And like you say, make a routine, make sure you do cut off at some point in the day to say, okay, this is now family time, home time. It's no longer work anymore.
That's great, Kirsty. I think we've covered it there, haven't we?
I think so. That's all that needs to happen. It's not rocket science.
Thanks to Kirsty for taking the time to talk to us. There's some great tips there which should help you set up your workspaces. And if you go to her website, there's a few links in the show notes. There's more information and access to her online set of courses, which look like really great value considering the benefits you'll get from following through on her advice. This week we've been shifting to home working, both in my design practice and at the University of Plymouth, where we're starting to push out online resources to our students and running tutorials via Zoom. I interviewed Kirsty via Zoom. It's an online video conferencing platform, which is really useful. Have a look at that. No doubt if you're home working, you may have been introduced to something similar. If you are looking for furniture and equipment to create a more ergonomic setup in your home office, please get in touch. We've got a number of things that we can recommend to you that should make the process of working at home more productive and healthier. I'd like to thank Dave Clark from Eye on the How for production support and invaluable advice in the setting up of this podcast, Kay Hanson for her planning support and co-hosting for these and our educational podcasts for the University of Plymouth, and Mark Frith for the music. Thanks for listening. Series 2 of the podcast will be coming out in a few weeks. We're shifting from face-to-face interviews to more online interviews. Look out for some posts on social media for the dates when we start to launch Series 2. Thanks for listening. Take care. Look after yourselves. Bye for now.